Misconceptions about Oneness Pentecostals, Part 1. Oneness Pentecostals teach that the Son is the Father.
You guys do teach that Jesus is the Father, because if anybody were to ask you, is Jesus the Son, you would say yes. And if anybody would ask you, is Jesus the Father, you would say yes. So if Jesus is the Son, and he's also the Father, that would mean that you're teaching the Son is the Father.
Do look at God as one person, according to Galatians.
Yeah, Galatians says that nowhere. It actually says one party, which is not one person. Mediator in this context is talking about Jesus being the mediator, but because he's God himself, the writer is saying that there is not multiple parties and there's one party because Jesus shares the nature of God the Father while also not being God the Father.
We do not find terminology like a multiplicity of persons or distinctions in consciousness within.
Yeah, so this is just not true. He says that he sees no distinctions for like a multiplicity of persons. That's just not true. Unless you haven't read the entire Bible, that's just not true. So we see in John 8, like 12 through 20, Jesus literally says that him and the Father are two people, like verbatim. Again, Jesus spoke to them saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. So the Pharisee said to him, you are bearing witness about yourself. Your testimony is not true. Jesus answered, even if I do bear witness about myself, my testimony is true. So let's slow down here. So in order for your testimony to be true, it will need two people. So the Pharisee said, the reason why your testimony is not true is because you're bearing witness about yourself. You don't have anybody else who can tell you your testimony. Jesus then says, even if I do bear witness about myself, my testimony is true, for I know where I came from and where I am going, but you do not know where I come from or where I am going. You judge according to the flesh. I judge no one. Yet even if I do judge, my judgment is true, for it is not I alone who judge. So Jesus is speaking and he says, it is not I alone who judge, but I and the Father who sent me. So he says, it is not I alone who judge. And then he says, but I and the Father who sent me. So he says both of them do. There's two judges here. He says, in your law, it is written that the testimony of two people is true. So Jesus says, in your law, it is written that the testimony of two people is true. Y'all were asking me to show you guys another witness. Jesus says that, but I and the Father who sent me. He says that there's two people here who's judging. There's just no way around this. They said to him, therefore, where is your Father? Jesus answered, you know neither me nor my Father. If you knew me, you would know my Father also. So Jesus clearly